What I've picked up in spirit is that someone is obsessed with you with the prophetic realm and aspect of your life. Somebody's obsessed and they're in very much denial. In fact, this is the reality in which they created onto you. And so when you and I got this dream last night of where every corner that I turned, it was just somebody that I knew or somebody who knew of me, and they were like, "Hey, so and so, so hey, you're so and so and so, hey, and so and so and so." And so, what I got from that is that obsession. People are gravitating towards you, but I want to pinpoint this specific person that was in your life, right? They fantasize this reality in which they saw a future with you, but what happened was that's all they saw. That's as far as it went. And so, in order to maintain and stabilize this, I'm gonna say timeline. Stabilize this timeline in which you were living in, what had happened in the past. They had to just do just that, and so they had to pinpoint this fantasy in which they created. And so what they did was this is diabolical witchcraft. This is diabolical witchcraft that was done onto you, right? Gaslighting, painting a picture, right? Maybe in a sense of leading you on, right? And so this person, what they needed, they had already a lot of stuff to unpack prior before they met you, right? And they've done this to a lot of people in the past already. And I'm gonna get to it further, but instead of actually facing that they need to change and that they're a terrible person, because when you left, it was different. But you're not the first person who was probably walked out of their life, right? Um, they never look at themselves, and it's so much easier to point fingers at somebody else than to look at yourself. And I'm speaking for them. Accountability, I love accountability, taking accountability of my actions, because we know that accountability perpetuates growth. This isn't about me. But speaking on their behalf, ooh, it's so much easier to point fingers, right? And so, what you were dealing with, they basically, when I went, I'm gonna go back to say me saying I'm leading you on in a sense to where they did things to where it will build this delusion in your head. So maybe at one point you were delusional, but it wasn't your fault. You were delusional. In fact, it was created, this created, fabricated delusion that was in your head. Like, okay, they had to present themselves as a person who can be your soulmate, a person who can be your potential soulmate, a lover. And what they did was not only this individual, which was pinpointed onto them, projected onto you, this psychotic, I want to say psyche. You know how they say, like, damn, I feel like I'm dealing with the same person, but in a different, the same person, but in a different body, right? So, you know how, like, spirits jump from spirit to spirit to spirit, right? But you're well equipped now and you discern that. And so you know how to, like, transmute energy. You know how to, like, you see things for how it was. And everything that maybe before you were, like, subconscious about it, but everything is conscious. So the veil is lifted. The veil has completely lifted on your behalf, right? And so you call things how you see it. But I want to go back and say beforehand, right? Um, this this is why you kept seeing the same patterns within people, because this psychic energy, this delusion, this soulmate type of vibey energy. This person initially sowed this within, I always call them, and y'all know, flying monkeys. They sowed that energy. And so when these flying monkeys came around you, you're like, damn, this person acts just like, now the veil is lifted, right? Subconsciously, you didn't peep it before, but you're like, damn, this person acts just like this person, right? And they don't know that you're equipped with discernment. You see the patterns, they recognize the patterns, because again, the collective, the original person really doesn't recognize how powerful you are. Again, this point is video is that these folks are obsessed, not possessed. Well, uh, they're obsessed with the prophetic calling on your life, just your prophetic energy and what you bring to the table. And so they wanted a future with you, but they never actually actualized it, right? They never did anything to make that happen. And so, in your mind at one point, maybe you're like, damn, this person, you started catching on like this person is like, maybe you were like, they're delusional, or maybe, I don't know. But you were living in this delusion. You're like, this person really does have like an attraction for me. And honestly, with the discernment that you have, there was a genuine attraction. Again, I'm talking about a session here. If that ain't attraction in itself, but again, as I already said from the beginning, just the delusion that they had painted was as far as that was ever going to go. And however long you were led on, I am sorry. But now you are living in a timeline now where you completely are detached from that energy. That energy doesn't resonate with you whatsoever because of the simple fact of the matter that whatever picture that they had to paint, because after you left, they had to run with it. As I said in previous messages, they had to run with the story, and it's easier for you. Your truth is their truth. I've said that before. It's been a while. But your truth is their truth. But in order for their truth, their fabricated lie, they have to keep up. It's easy, it's harder to keep up with lies, is what I'm trying to say. And stuff starts getting twisted up. The truth never changes, is all I'm trying to say. Your truth is their truth. And there's been so many things added within this fabricated reality that or timeline you were once living in. Maybe at one point you did resonate to what they were saying because again, you were like, dang, they had you questioning your own self, like, damn, am I really this person? But until you consulted God about it and you're like, hold on now. Witchcraft, diabolical witchcraft. They had you. They did have you at one point, right? And the condition of your heart, seeing that you have a very big heart too. You're very compassionate. You understand why people do the things that they do, right? You see through the veil. You see through the matrix, right? And you, at one point, you were living off of potential. And I'm telling you right now, stop living off potential and live off who they actually are as a person. It is not fun. I have been there myself. But and just hoping that that person would change. No, 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 no. And so you chose to live in this delusion, right? But again, I don't want to say chose all the way because again, witchcraft when you were subconscious about it, you're conscious about it now, right? They had you in that bond. And so now in proximity in the vicinity, I just made a video 2 days ago, right? People utilize other people in order to aid their smear campaign on you. So I had already mentioned that they had to keep up and withhold the lie. After you left, they had nothing at all. Everything fell back into their lap, and it was just like, dang, well. And people see that. People see that you probably don't associate with these folks no more. You don't. But they never asked you. They never got your side of the story. No, they didn't. And I'm speaking in a manner now, like, I know this is the side in which, and again, I just made a narcissist video too. This is probably like, this is narcissistic behavior. But narcissists loves to protect their image in a sense to where, again, I've already said from the get-go, it's easier for them to project onto other people than to them to actually look at themselves. They have this psyche, right? In their mind, wholeheartedly believe that they are a good person. There are so many people who pretends and put on the act of being a good person, but at heart, the heart is tainted. And we see right through it. We see when disingenuine energy is being casted before you. That's why God said, "Don't cast your pearls before swine." We see the fakeness. They think we don't see it. I know you see it for a fact, right? Right. And so when these flying monkeys came around, these proxies or whatever you want to call them, right? Folks in your vicinity, proximity, they started gravitating towards you because you got that magnetizing energy. Again, in my dream, I said people were obsessing. People were coming from different directions. Every corner I turned, I said, and take it however resonates. There was somebody who just knew me or knew of me, right? And so maybe you're making a name for yourself. Who knows, right? Um, but as I said, I'm pinpointing these specific individuals as a form of obsession. And so not only these people that this person, the initial person, project their psychic energy of that painted fantasy, right? And just stopping there and flaunting that and showing it, projecting that same energy onto other people because they had to do that. After you walked away, they had to continue the story. And so they did that and projected it on other people. And so when these proxies came into you, those who still associated with said person, they had to put on the act as well. But even though we see through the act, they still gravitated and caught like some type of obsession to this feeling, this energy. And so they had to flaunt themselves, not even they had fantasized themselves too as being soulmates, this soulmate energy onto you, around you. And so like you're like, dang, and the delusion that you were living, you're like, dang, this person can probably be my soulmate. I can genuinely see myself being with this person, right? You were probably that person, right? You're like, this can probably work. And talk about a wolf in sheep's clothing. A wolf in sheep's clothing, folks. Read your Bible. Let me stop. I'm sorry. I don't know why I feel so comical today. But no, I actually do read your word though. But this is just part of my personality. It's just slipping or whatever. This is me. I'm very, if you ever meet me. But anyways, a wolf in sheep's clothing had to do. But within that clothing, some of that piece of their heart, some of their heart, you stole a piece of their heart a little bit, right? You know how they say, there's a song I just listened to earlier. It's featured by Brent Fires. He was on the song. And y'all know I love me some Brent Fires. But I think the song is called Piece of My Heart. I forgot who it's by, but the song is literally called Piece of My Heart. And it's like, basically the premise of the song is like, you can have a piece of my heart, but I can't give it all. And so when you were dealing with these proxies, these wolves in sheep's clothing, not to mention, of course, the initiator who projected this onto the collective, so they can think the same exact way. Hence why you see the same person in a different person, the same energy, the same spirit, right? Right? A piece of their heart. You took a piece of their heart. You just being your natural, genuine self. Because, for one, you're a high commodity, I want to say. People love interests. People, again, you already have this magnetizing energy. People fantasize about you. People, I said this before. How do I say it? Well, it's similar, but you're going to get it. I had said before, like way a while ago, like people like the idea of being with a good person, but to actually be with you is a no-go, right? And so it's that same concept, right? And so, yeah, you stole a piece of their heart just by being your true, authentic self. You know, people are attracted to you. Maybe you have a high sex appeal too, right? And so, again, then they sexualize you too, right? Don't they? They do. They project onto you and say project you as like a hypersexual individual, when really it's their feelings, it's what they want to do to you, but they're like, nah. Because again, it's easier to point fingers in order than to look at themselves. They want to do things to you, my fam, soul family, okay? But it's all in their head. And that's as far as it's going to go. And maybe, again, like I said, at one point, you maybe bit it into that, right? It's as chosen ones, not going to lie, Your sex drive is probably, I know this is going left field, but your sex drive is probably like insane, right? Through the roofs. Not ordinary. But I've seen a video like, chosen ones oftentimes like when it comes to that manner in nature, we cannot be giving our energy. We know for a fact, and I'm not trying to get in nobody's business, but you cannot go around laying just with anybody. No, because you know the type of energy that you give, people get addicted to that, and so you got to be careful because you make people crazy, right? I'm sorry. I'm just giving it real. Just I'm keeping it real. But so many people projected fantasies onto you, and hey, make sure your I want to say this too, make sure your relationships are built off of love, not lust. Love over lust. If you have to question it like, damn, is this lust? I mean, if it started off as lust, if y'all doing a do, that's the foundation. Make sure love is the foundation. Remember, God is the literal epitome of love. 1 John 4:7 and 8. Okay? Alright. For God is love. Y'all know that. But if God ain't the foundation of a relationship, test the spirit first, people. But again, we're able to speak this now because the veil has lifted. And I'm wrapping this up. I didn't realize this video is about to be 17 minutes long. Good Lord. It's definitely going on YouTube as well. But y'all might have to finish it on YouTube because Jesus. I'll put it in, yeah. But yeah. Test the spirit, folks. These people had you, just summarizing it up, had you in Delulu land at one point. And these people are very much delusional too. But it was in a form of you were living in a delusion that was crafted by witchcraft. That was fabricated by witchcraft. You got encapsulated by the spell that was put onto you. And so, because you got encapsulated, they had some ammunition to run with it and make it believable. But until you saw through it, when you became conscious about it and weren't subconscious, no longer subconscious, all right, and it did not fit the narrative and you no longer resonated with that energy, right? So, that's all I'm going to say. Stay sharp, people. As my godmom always say, pray for these 5 things every day: wisdom, knowledge, understanding, discernment, and good judgment. Okay? Now, I love y'all as always. God bless. And remember, it's impact over influence. Let me know how this resonated with you.